Okay, so my purple group, today I have created a video just for you guys. So your video is going to look a little bit different. Today when we meet in our small group, we're really going to be kind of wrapping up this concept of long division with one digit. Tomorrow we're going to be moving on to 2 digits. So I want to make sure that we have a really strong understanding of how to divide using one digit. We're also going to be taking a look at a few word problems as well, and you'll have a word problem to work on independently at your seat. And the goal there is that you're using picture or a picture to help you solve that. So not just giving me the algorithm, but also showing me your knowledge and showing me how you solve that in another way. Additionally, after you finish the video, I'm going to link another video for you, and it is a kind of a rap song that is to help you remember the steps for long division. So if you finish this early, you can go on and watch that video and get a little to help you. It's really catchy, and you'll be able to help you remember some of the steps. So today, when you are working, you're actually going to be working on a worksheet at your desk. You're not going to be doing your Think Central or your math practice book because today is just a review day. So I want us to look at some problems that you're also going to see, some similar problems that you're going to see on your worksheet. Today, you are going to be working with one-digit division, like I had mentioned before, but your dividend is going to have 3 digits and sometimes even 4 digits. So let's think for a moment, what exactly do I mean when we are talking about the dividend? So as we can see here, the dividend is the number that we are dividing. So our dividend in this case would be 24. So when I say that you're going to be working with 3 and 4 digit dividends, that means that this inside number right here is going to have 3 and 4 digits in it. Now our groups, or how many groups we're making, is called our divisor, and our answer in a division problem is always called our quotient. So let's get started on our first example problem today. So what I would like you to try out is, write this down in your notes, we're going to do an easier one to start with. I want us to try 6 divided by 250. And what we're really thinking in this problem is if I had 250, say, soccer balls, and I wanted them to divide them between 6 classes, I would need to put 250, all of my soccer balls, into 6 groups. And that's really what we're doing with division. However, with a big number like 250, it takes a while to count that out. That's why we rely on the algorithm and long division to be able to help us. So, and remembering our steps. So, when we are looking at this problem, our first number that we see here in our dividend in our hundreds place is a 2. Now, if this number is smaller than our divisor, we know that we cannot divide it, meaning we cannot make 6 groups out of only 2. So then we need to move on to our tens place. Now we have 25. So we need to think in our head, how many groups of 6 can we make out of 25? So it may not be equal. So we're going to look at our multiplication chart here where the 6 is, and we can go across and we see that 6 times 4 is going to give us 24. So that's the closest we're going to get without going over. So we know that 25 can be divided into 4 groups of 6, and that is going to give us 24 because we are multiplying 4 times 6, which gives us 24. Now the next step is to subtract. 25 minus 24 is 1. Now, can we make 6 groups with only 1? No. So we need to bring down this 0. So let's think here. How many times can we make 6 groups out of 10? So if I have 10 M&Ms and I want to give them to 6 students, how many M&Ms is each student going to get? Well, looking again at our multiplication chart and our 6s, we can see here that without going over, the closest we're going to get is 1. So that means that we can only make one group out of 10, one group of 6. So our 1 needs to be placed here. And remember, we're thinking multiplication. So 6 times 1 is 6. Now we subtract, and we have 10. I'm going to zoom out here. 10 minus 6 is going to give us 4. Now, we don't have any more numbers here. As we can see, there aren't any more numbers right here. So that means that this number, this 4, now becomes our remainder. So our answer is 41 remainder, and I don't want the highlighter, remainder 4. Okay, so let's try one more before we move on to a word problem. This time we're going to be working with a number that is going to have 4 digits in our dividend. So we are going to be dividing 5 divided by 1,723. So we are seeing how many groups of 5 we can make with 1,723. So again, the first thing we need to do is look at our thousands column first. Can we make 5 groups out of 1? No. So we need to move on to our hundreds column. How many groups of 5 can we make with 17? Well, again, looking at our multiplication chart, we can make 3 groups of 5 with 17. However, it's not going to be equal groups. So our 3 goes right above, and remember what we're talking about, place value. It needs to go right above our hundreds, the 7 in our hundreds column. So now we think multiplication. 5 times 3 is 15. Now we subtract. 17 minus 15 is 2. Now, can I make 5 groups with only 2? No. So I need to bring down this second 2 here. Now, how many groups can I make? How many groups of 5 can I make with 22? Well, without going over, I can see here that I can only make 4 groups of 5 out of 22. So 4 goes up the top. We have 4 groups. 4 times 5 is going to give me 20. Now I can subtract. And I have 22 minus 20 is 2. Now again, this number on our dividend is smaller than our divisor, so we must bring down our next digit, which is a 3. Now we can think how many times or how many groups can we make out of, how many groups of 5 can we make out of 23? Or what is 23 divided by 5? And again, the closest we're going to be able to get is 4 groups. 4 times 5 is 20. And we can subtract, oops. And 23 minus 20 is 3. Now, I don't have any more numbers in this column here. We can see that there is nothing right here. So that means that this 3 down at the bottom that I just got from subtracting is my remainder. So my answer is 344 remainder 3. So now we're going to take a look at a word problem. Listen as I read the word problem aloud. There are 156 students at summer camp. The camp has 13 cabins. An equal number of students sleep in each cabin. How many students sleep in each cabin? So if I was going to do this equation, I need to first think, what are the numbers that I'm working with? Well, I know that there are 156 students at summer camp, and the camp has 13 cabins. So essentially what I'm thinking is, I have how many groups of 13 can I make? Because each student has to go into one of those 13 cabins. So I need to set up my problem. I know that my divisor is going to be 13 and my dividend is going to be 156. So I just like our regular long division that we've been doing, following the steps, I have now 13. 13 is a little bit larger of a number than what we've been working with, but I think we can do it. So I have 13 students, 13 cabins and 156 students. Can 13 go into 15? Yes, I can make 15, with the number 15, I can make one group of 13. So my 1 goes at the top above my tens column. So now what is 1 times 13? 1 times 13 is 13. Now I subtract. 15 minus 13 is going to give me 2. Now this 2 is too small. I cannot make 13 groups with only 2. So I need to bring down my 26. How many times can 13 go into 26, or how many groups of 26 can I make with 13? I can make 2 groups, and that is going to give me 26. So now I can subtract and I get 0. So my answer is 12. There will be 12 students in each of the cabins. Now I know this one was a little bit trickier because we're working with a divisor that is larger than 1 digit, but I wanted to take a look at what we will be working on tomorrow. All right, guys, today for your work, I want you to, after this video, there is like I had mentioned before, there is a quick little hip-hop video that I think you'll enjoy. After you finish that, you do have a playlist if you're done before your rotation. Otherwise, you are free to work on your worksheet. Your worksheet is two-sided. On the back, you do have a word problem. Now, my goal is that I'm not just seeing the algorithm on your word problem. I'm also looking for that picture, that model. So I really want to see what model you're using and really show me your thinking. All right, guys, awesome. And I will see you in our groups.